Hello everyone again, welcome back to SkateProud chat. Today we're going to be talking with Jordan Cohen, the creator of the amazing On Ice Perspectives. He is a super talented artist. He goes on the ice filming figure skaters from an amazing perspective we've never seen before. I'm sure most of you already know him. So as soon as he's here ready, we will invite him over. But yeah, I'm so excited for him to be joining this live chat. In the meantime, just so you know, Jordan used to be a figure skater from the USA. And he is now I think, Jordan, you gotta check from that you are on the right page on OnIcePerspectives. I think you are in the wrong account. But yeah, Jordan used to be a USA figure skater, ice dancer, and he transitioned into this new career that he created, and it's been so popular. He has an amazing platform, and if you don't know him yet, you should check it out. On Ice Perspectives are beautiful videos. So yeah, Jordan, double check you are with here. I see you. Sorry for this delay. I think we're ready. Connecting.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry about that. For some reason,
No worries.
I wasn't seeing you. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I got the notification for the live and I forgot I was logged into the
Yeah.
OpenIce account.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Where are you currently right now?
I'm currently at home in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
That's the city behind me.
Nice. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
So thank you very much for joining the chat, supporting this platform.
of
And I'm
course.
so happy that you're here with us to talk about a lot of things. I think I was trying to put everybody, in concept about your career. So you are a former US figure skater, ice dancer. So if you want to tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, like most of the skaters you've had on, I've skated my whole life. I grew up in Los Angeles and started figure skating, moved to ice dancing, found a partner in Michigan. I moved to Michigan at 16 by myself to train, and I was on Team USA for about 5 or 6 more years after that before I retired. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Stepped away from skating for a bit, did some ballroom dancing professionally, and then found myself back on the ice as a coach, and then wanted to kind of have more reason to stay in the ice rink than just coaching. So I thought of this idea to film figure skating and make people want to watch it who had never seen skating before. So
Yeah.
that led me
So
here.
you as a figure skater reached the national then you reach the national level, top level, and then in this transition you were, as you said, trying new things, you were coaching. And how did you came up with this amazing and unique idea? Because we never seen before. And by the way, not many people know or put the face of the guy who is actually doing this. And so it's so great that you're here and that everybody see you and knows who is behind the camera.
Thank you.
So
Well,
how did you get to the point, this creative point? Yeah.
um, I wanted to go back into skating as doing ice shows, and I got to a certain point where I looked around and I thought, there's all this amazing skating going on in the world, amazing ice shows, but I saw empty seats, and I wanted to show the world that figure skating is something that happens more than every 4 years. It happens all the time. Skaters are training 24/7. And I went to this beautiful show in Sun Valley, which I'd never been to an outdoor rink like that before. And it was just so beautiful. I started capturing it on my phone while skating on the ice, and I fell in love with it. And I found out that if I keep filming like this, people will watch it and hopefully fall in love with skating.
Yeah, and I think one thing that is very interesting, you you are filming people training, you're filming people rehearsing. It's not just that you're doing big things, that of course you have been to big shows and you have reached, like you went to Dancing on Ice in this TV show in the UK, and that's probably one of your peaks in your career. But you film everyone. You're like you're full invested. It's amazing, Yeah. So, which also allows us as skaters to meet new figure skaters and to be like, okay, wow, it's amazing. Or even this little girl, or like, so a lot of videos that you probably have created up to today.
Yeah, I feel like there are just thousands and thousands of undiscovered skaters and amazing stories behind them that I want to be able to showcase and package them in a way that people can easily understand them and feel them and respect them. So if I could film and post a video every day for the next 10 years or the rest of my life, I would. It's just been a matter of making that work.
Yeah. So of course, and I guess it's a process that it's been a bit tough through some moments. It's something that you have invested your time, your money, all the resources, and I know you have a Patreon that we can support you, and so everybody is, like, there is a lot of ways that we can keep helping you to keep creating these amazing videos. But yeah, I think On Ice Perspective has a really amazing philosophy that in the end you're being very inclusive and you're trying to get everybody. You're like filming all these, as you said, undiscovered figure skaters and giving them a chance to be in your platform, which I think is so great. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to go for the stories that I feel like someone with like a TV production network or a sports network. I try to do the things that they would never think of doing because it just isn't feasible for a big film crew to come and film a young skater that no one's ever heard about for no reason because it's not Olympic season or whatever. I just want to show the stories that aren't being told.
Yeah. As you said, it's true. It's not everybody reaches the Olympic stage. Not everybody are Olympic medalists. But all of us, we have a story, and sometimes it is so great that you are giving us a chance to be in your platform and to be seen. And I think it's also for us. Every time you film me, I think it's like an amazing memory that I love the videos. So it's like, oh my God, so great to have this, forever, because it's such a unique perspective. It's so special. People, every time they see it, they're like, wow, they're amazed. Yeah. So
Most
so yeah,
importantly, I
we're
want the
here
skater I
today.
filmed. Most importantly, I want the skater I filmed to be happy with it, and it's
Exactly. Well,
always fun filming
I
you.
am. Yeah. Actually, let me share some pictures here of you filming. Well, we have the cover from today. And so, how did you came up to this technology? How was this whole story, and like, how did you figure out what you needed to use to be
Um,
able to film this way?
well, so that I basically started with the phone stabilizers, and then I moved to GoPros. It's all kind of consumer level tech. It used to cost tens of thousands of dollars and, be strapped to big movie equipment cameras. And then the price just fell to a certain point where I could pick one up and not worry about dropping it and breaking it. Um,
Mm.
that was it. That was the line where I said, okay, I can actually start to be a little bit risky with it now because the
Yeah.
price felt so cheap compared to what it used to cost. And a lot of it is skill because this stuff was never made to film skating at high speeds. So I basically just put thousands and thousands of hours of practice into it. Um,
I can
I
imagine.
before I filmed skaters, I was filming everything else I could because I wanted to be absolutely sure with my abilities before I got on the ice and risked my equipment.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a camera that was an improvement from, let's say, an iPhone or a GoPro to a bigger.
Yeah.
But then how about this other one?
That
That was
so that is the
huge.
10,000. I think that just the gimbal itself, just to hold the camera, cost about 60,000 British pounds, and the camera is 30,000, and the lens is 30,000. It's just but I don't own that equipment. That's not mine. The show rents it
Okay.
out for me to film on broadcast network TV.
Yeah, yeah. So this one,
Yeah,
the thing is that this one is connected to a live TV, so allows to
yeah.
stream right away. Yeah.
It's all wireless. I'm carrying batteries on my back, batteries on my hips, an antenna
Wow.
behind my head and behind my spine. It's a little
And
bit
then with this
it gets
extra
warm.
weight, try to navigate and like try to not be in the way of the skater. At the same time, try to be as close as possible. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
filming with
what's
that,
the
it's
funny
a
story?
teamwork.
Yeah. What's the funny story that happened to you and I at Revolution on Ice?
I
That
had
am I
my
the only one?
you're the second
Am I
time
the
I've
okay?
ever fallen with a camera. The second time,
Oh,
and the first time I've fallen while recording.
I thought I was gonna get the title of the only one, but
Yeah, you're the only one I've caught on film, and I actually have that clip. It's funny because I bounce off of my
you
butt.
just yeah, kind of like when I keep recording me, I'm like, oh my god, the
Yeah.
guy's amazing.
I mean, I was wearing those skates for the first time. Those are pretty much brand new skates, and I
Yeah,
hadn't skated in 2 or 3 weeks, and then I
and I
jumped
think
right
you just
into
arrived to Madrid in like the morning, and you were on the ice a few hours later. It's yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, obviously, it's more than
and the
that,
ice
but
was pretty bad.
as well. That's so funny. So you, Jordan, have beside your on Ice Perspective platform that has a really important message as well. You're sharing stories in your own way, your creative way, and everybody. You have a lot of followers, and everybody loves your work. You have also invested your time this past month with Caitlin Weaver creating Open Eyes and working on social issues, helping the people, raising money. So you're really on board with the skating community and trying to help. And this is also the reason why you're here today, because we're gonna talk about SkateProud and the platform. And so the first day that I contact you, you didn't even think twice, and you were there to support it. And we were planning, okay, let's figure out a day when we can have a chat and support each other. And so, what was your first thought about Escape Proud when I created it and when it was moving forward?
Well, the number one thing is that it's you doing it. That's what means the most to me because you've always been that kind of person who wanted to create this platform. I know you've talked about it for a very long time, and when you started it and you brought it to me, and I looked at what you were doing and I looked at how much work you were putting into it, I knew that this was something that can and will succeed. And it comes down to hard work, and I saw you putting in all of that hard work, and everything that you've done so far
Yeah,
is quite amazing. That, and I want.
I don't know. Yeah, the connection kind of cut off. If you wanted to repeat that, because I don't think we hear that.
Sure. So Javier, I know you were one of the first out figure skaters, and I read your story about it and the news articles about it. And when you about it was about a year ago that you told me about this idea to create a platform that connects the proud skating community. Sorry, I don't know if the connection's really bad on your
Yeah,
end. Let's see.
it is a bit hard. Yeah, I think I see you better now. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah,
So,
the internet here in New York City has been pretty bad lately.
I mean, it's a lot of people. So yeah. So you were saying that about a year ago, that's where it cut off, sort of.
Yeah, about a year ago, you told me about this initiative, this idea that you had to connect the proud skating community, and I remember reading up on you and you coming out and the stories behind that and how it felt, and I knew that you would be the best person to lead this movement. You have the smarts, you have the hard work, and seeing what you've done
Thank
so
you.
far, it's proven itself. So
I
I'm really proud of
think.
you.
Thank you very much. I think the purpose of this platform is to really get as many stories of LGBTQ plus figure skaters, friends, and allies, like your case, allies. I always miss that word. But yeah, I think that's also a reason why we want to hear your story. You as a figure skater, you also were a little kid that chose a different sport than the average in North America, that is usually hockey. So I think it's important that everybody hear that even though you identify yourself as a straight man and you have a girlfriend, but you also this struggle. It's a similar story to what Dylan talked to us last Sunday. So I would like to hear how was your experience and growing up, especially. Yeah.
Well, I would say that I was not a very sports oriented kid growing up. I was more of a into musical theater and music in general. And I came to the figure skating world as my first sport. And I would say like that would be because most other sports I just found so aggressive all the time. And whereas figure skating, I could just be myself. I could be comfortable with it. I could take it slow at my own pace. I really enjoyed that part of it. But it did invite me to a lot of bullying growing up, not just from kids at school who didn't really understand that you could be straight and a figure skater, but also some older family members too. I'm talking like grandparents' generation who like
Hmm.
didn't really approve of the fact that I was a skater and not in a different sport. Um,
Because they thought
and
that would lead to something that, yeah,
right, not that,
which is.
and to me, that I think a lot of boys feel that in this sport. And me growing up being identified with being gay and not feeling part of that community, I feel like it's just a portion of how people must feel when they really are confused and stuck with no one to turn to. So I think in a lot of ways that can hurt the sport because now you have boys and girls who are trying to make up for that, and it leads to a nature of, we call it now, toxic masculinity, where
Hmm.
you're trying to prove something to people who are never going to be nice to you regardless because of their beliefs. So yeah, it's bad for the sport, and I think the more that people understand that it's it's okay to figure skate and be masculine or feminine or anything in that regard, it's that's I think it's just important that people know more information. So that's why it's important to share these stories.
I think it's a really important part. The one you mentioned, toxic masculinity, and I think it affects a lot this sport, this stereotype, in a way that when parents or family members or other people influence the decision of, let's say, a kid that wants to go figure skate and wants to do this sport because he really liked or he really like he watched on TV, But then that's a barrier. Or even if that kid starts to figure skate, a process like yours growing up, and some skaters trying to demonstrate their masculinity because they feel they have to break that stereotype, and that's like an extra work, that's like exhausting. And it's just like, I guess, and I think in a way for us, that we were fighting and accepting ourselves as part of the LGBTQ plus community, and you guys fighting maybe, or like having these thoughts about like, do I have to show off a little more masculine, or even do I have to maybe not be friends with other figure skaters because they might be gay, like probably a lot of things
Yeah.
going on, right? And then also you still were bullied, and you probably had a lot of struggles because of choosing a sport that you were feeling you were connecting with, you were feeling that was, that what you wanted to do, and all the people around that were negatively impacting and putting a barrier to that. So yeah, I think it is very important that you're sharing this story from your perspective, and how much it did also affect you.
Yeah, I think attaching attaching a attaching a sexuality to an entire sport is just so it's so limiting. I think the biggest message is when you call it skate proud is to really just be yourself and don't worry about the judgment,
Yeah,
because only you know what it means to skate proud. And I wish I knew that when I was a competitive skater, because I do feel like my career and my mentality in the sport was hampered by that fear. Now, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near, like I feel uh, I've heard stories from so many skaters that I've filmed. I've worked with documentaries that are truly about coming out, whether it's from Randy Gardner to Adam Rippon. I've worked on these documentaries about gay figure skaters, and the stories that I hear is just like it's insane what they have to go through, and I only have a portion of that. So I'm trying to do the best that I can to help, share that.
yeah. And I think what you're saying, escape route is not only if you're LGBTQ plus. I think it's for everyone, because you were probably back enough at some points in your skating career, and not putting your full artistic side,
Absolutely.
and because you were probably trying to go through a path that will be more a masculine path, and trying to be, you know and not being fully yourself, whether it doesn't matter your sexual orientation, or identity. It's more about being yourself. This is what about Escape Proud is for everyone, because I think everybody, no matter what, needs to be themselves, and this translates into the eyes, and this is how we express ourselves, and that's why I feel most of the skaters that we have, let's say, come out during our competitive career, the last seasons where we already did that, it's always the same message: how free we felt. But I think you can also translate that into straight figure skaters and friends and allies, because I feel when you overcome all these stereotypes, when you are like, you know what, this is stupid. I have gay friends, I have like friends from the community. You know your sexuality, or even if you don't know it, it doesn't matter. You're being yourself. When you get to that point of acceptance, it doesn't matter how you are, who you are. It's about knowing that you can be yourself, and especially
Yeah.
that goes into the eyes, and you can really see when a skater is fully artistically expressing, and I think that's where
So
we can
the
get. Yeah.
the thing that I people who so what I feel is suppressing or rejecting someone because of who they love it when it has nothing to do with their athletic or artistic abilities, like attaching sexuality, someone's sexuality to who they're trying to portray and act on the ice, it hurts everybody. Whether you're gay or straight or in between, it hurts people because now you're forcing people to double think themselves and, oh, well, I want to extend this arm in a beautiful, soft way because that's what my body wants to do. And but you can't if you're constantly emotionally worried about people trying to interpret your sexuality through it. And it's so negative in a lot of places, in a lot of ways, when you're seen as gay. People, it's the bullying, it's making fun of it when it has nothing to do with how good of a skater you are. I mean, it's sad to see people, to see that happen to people that I know and love,
Judging.
and yeah, and skaters all over the world.
Yeah. So going to, as you were saying, you've worked with a lot of skaters. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing your story because I think it's very important to have a friend and ally of the community, and that you've also been through a very uh, similar but in a different way story growing up. But now you as a cameraman on Ice Perspectives, you've, as you said, you've worked with a lot of skaters, and you're trying to portray stories, and as you said, you've had the chance to know more skaters, very big skaters that have like struggle, and this is also a reason why you feel you want to get involved with this. Yeah, if you want to share a little
Hmm.
more about that part.
Well, what's funny is I got my big break moment. I mean, the best, the times when my career has gone forward has been centered around the gay skaters that I know, because their stories, like when I started and Adam Rippon came out at the Olympics and the whole issue with Mike Pence, it really opened up this whole new conversation about figure skating and why it's seen as this gay sport, but no one can come out. And even all the way up to the sports organizations themselves, the governing bodies issuing rules as to, a male figure skater cannot wear a dress or a skirt. And a female figure skater must do, you cannot have the man doing the lady steps in a pattern dance. You cannot have the lady doing a man steps. You're
It's
not
like
allowed to
really
skate.
backwards, yeah.
You're
And in
not
Iceland,
allowed
you probably
to,
have them more, yeah.
yeah, and you're not allowed to have same-sex partnerships. Um, right? I mean, we think it's something that we've always thought, well, of course, ice dancing, man, girl, pair skating, man, girl, but you literally cannot do that.
Next
And
discipline, we're gonna push for that.
yeah,
Why
it's,
not?
and the reasoning behind it, it's not, there's no real reason besides we want to keep this image of a man being in love with a woman, and every ice dancing routine is centered around that. But you don't see that often routines that are simply just about athleticism. Like if it's going to be a girl lifting a boy, I mean, when that happens, it's rare. Um,
Yeah,
so anyways, 2018 was an incredible year for that, and I found myself filming two skaters, and this is going to be a kind of a long story, but two very good friends of mine from New York City. We were in Ice Theater of New York together. We coached together, and they did this number together as two men for for an Ice Theater of New York showcase. And it was originally choreographed for Christian's partner. He and Joel worked on this routine together on like in Central Park, and he did it with his partner, but then someone said, you guys should just do it together because we saw you working on it. We saw you workshopping and you guys just look so beautiful doing it. And when I watched them practice it, I filmed them with my little GoPro at the time. It was just like one of the first people I filmed. And this routine caught the eye of these documentary filmmakers who were looking for that sort of story. And they brought me on to follow them. I mean, they were my friends, so it was pretty easy. But I filmed them training and practicing for their routine, and then they took it to the gay games in Paris. And I had never heard of the gay games, but it's a really, really big deal. Um,
Yeah, it's a big, big event in the gay world and the LGBTQ plus community. And so how did you lead to that? And you told me you were able to go there as well.
yeah, I was able to go to Paris. It was my first time there, and
Mhm.
bring all of my camera equipment and even film them on the ice. And that's kind of where that's all the information I can give because the documentary is still being edited. It's in the editing phase, but working with them and then working with Adam um, and other figure skaters who shared their story, especially at the gay games. We filmed the whole thing centered around LGBTQ figure skaters from New York City who were all going to the gay games together. There were about 15 of us, and
Wow,
all different stories. Someone in their 80s was going to skate for basically the last time, and
that's
someone in her
amazing.
60s. Um, I can't. I mean, it's such an amazing story. I'll have to share it when it comes out. But
So this
hearing
documentary is still in the process.
it's still, yeah, it's still being edited. It takes a couple of years for these things
Of course,
because
yeah.
they have to like find the story that streamlines it all. But
Uh,
it's I wish I could talk more about it. But learning and interviewing and talking to all of these basically icons of the gay games because they were in it like since figure skating was. I think one of them was the first lady to introduce figure skating to the gay games in like 1992. I might be getting that wrong, but yeah,
yeah,
it's it's an amazing world that needs people to tell their stories.
I think, and this is what we're trying, and this is what it's about to tell our stories and support one another. And I feel your work is so important. Uh, yeah, I did not even know about this story of the gay games, and I'm like very shocked. But it feels like yeah, it feels that it's amazing that all these skaters and different ages and like they probably live through a more rough time and times where it was not that easy to come out, or they have probably a more difficult stories than for sure that I do or other skaters we have
Yeah,
struggled with.
I can share a good story too. This was again centered around Adam coming out, but I was hired to work for a documentary shot in LA centering around Randy Gardner. He's
Mm-hmm.
a US pair champion, skated with Ty Babylonia. And in this interview, and I'm hearing this all for the first time because I didn't really know that much about his personal story, but he came out as gay as a 50 year, I think he was 50 or 40 when he came out, but he was sent when he was a competitive skater, they had to look like they were in love, he and Ty. His parent slash coach supported sending him to gay conversion therapy while he was a competitive skater. When he wanted to go out on a date with his boyfriend, he and Ty had to go together with another girl so it looked like a double date. And this was in the 70s, 80s. I'm getting my timelines wrong because I'm not good with numbers, but the
And the worst part, I mean, I'll keep telling your story, but these conversion therapies, they still go on.
yeah.
And there was this movie that really touched me. Um, forgot the title, something about boy. Yeah, and it's rough. So this story keep going because
Well,
yeah.
you'll want to check out the documentary that's coming out. It's called Go Figure, the Randy Gardner story. It's based on him doing like a stand-up routine where he explains all of this stuff. and it's going. I hope it wins some amazing awards because hearing it come from his mouth and talking about it, I think he's in his late 50s or 60s now, maybe even seven. Oh my God, I feel bad. He looks great. He and Ty look absolutely fantastic, but um, they're from this time when there was the AIDS epidemic and anything associated because AIDS was associated with being gay and figure skating was associated with being gay. The governing bodies had to hide. You were not allowed to come out. You were not allowed to talk about that at all. And
It was a huge crisis in all the aspects. Yeah.
yeah,
With
and
that.
it's really tragic because a lot of people lost their lives because of being afraid to come out and the emotional and lifestyle repercussions from that. So I forgot where I was
Wow.
going with this, but that's kind of the
No,
story.
it's
It's
about his story, and I can't even imagine, yeah, going to conversion therapy and struggling with the crisis and all that. Oh my God, it's just, I mean, I think it's going to be a really important documentary, and we all must see that. Do you know when it's going to come out or
they've
released?
they were supposed to be at a few film festivals. Obviously, it's not happening, so it's all
Yeah,
remote. But it's finished. So it's going. I don't know where it's going to be released next, but I'm in touch with the director and editor for it. So when it's ready for like public consumption, um, I'll be sharing that.
we will share. We will share for
Yeah.
sure from this platform. Yeah. Wow. That is unbelievable. I feel I feel lucky up to like to have that my story has not. It's just so. It's been so easy compared back in the days, and yeah,
Well,
I
it's important to
think
know
we've
that it
come a
was
long
it was
way.
built off of those earlier skaters. Like they were
Yeah,
the people who pushed through so that we can come out today and not have a big it won't it's a little bit easier now. It's less of a big deal now because people are more accepting of it, which is a good thing. It means that there's
and I
progress being
think
made.
yeah, and this is the reason why, because we've been a little more lucky with this our time and this all our countries changing forward for our rights. I think it is very important that we step forward, we advocate, and we there's still lots to go and to change, but we also have to honor all the figure skaters that have struggled, and also that they have fought to make a change, and that now they're even sharing their stories, and we have a lot to learn from them. Yeah.
Yeah, so much. I think it's really important to
Amazing.
connect with that older generation of skaters that were just a little bit past us because they like I was listening to your conversation with Eric Radford and when he got to the part about possibly coming out of the 2014 Olympics before Sochi and it was just decided that that was not the right time and it's just kind of it's so it's amazing that they can come out of this relatively normal people after what they went through and kind of say, well, that's just how it was. But like when they were in it, when they were in that decision making process, I can only imagine how hard that was to go through it.
We cannot even imagine. Like it's when I saw this movie about conversion therapy, and it's just like how difficult. Like it's already hard to accept yourself because the way the society is built, and to even have people that take you to a place trying to change something that is completely natural, is the way we are, the way we're born, and just because they think is the right thing to do, and because
It's
we think we are wrong, or we are, I don't know, it's it's just like unbelievable. thankfully also those are like, it's important to mention some countries are making like taking a step towards this situation, and they are banning conversion therapies. I don't know the case in the United States if it's already reached the national level. Like, yes, like 2 days ago with this good news
Mm.
about the banning of firing people, whether it is their gender identity or their sexual orientation, which is such a great news. But I feel some countries in Europe, they have already taken the steps to ban, to fine any conversion therapy, and so we are evolving, we are getting there. But
Hmm.
I feel that at our time we are very lucky in general that it doesn't happen as often anymore as it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and something that I've always felt running on Ice Perspectives and seeing the way that me as a person can like change people's minds about figure skating. It's the work is never done, like as long as that whenever there's progress made, you always have to make sure that you're still educating people and you're still sharing the stories, because it gets too easy sometimes for people to forget, and you can actually slide back. So like
It's all
the
about the
way
ignorance,
everyone's
not education. That's
Yeah,
what's
and there's new people born every minute, and people come of age every day. Someone born 18 years ago is now becoming an adult now, and they may not have seen that documentary that was made 19 years ago. So you have to constantly be educating people and constantly sharing stories. I suggest I'll share the name of Go Figure, the Randy Gardner documentary, the Randy Gardner story, and you should share the name of that
for
gay
sure.
conversion therapy
I
documentary.
mean, it's such a great story. We will share and support him as well. And I think this is also one of the purpose why Skate Proud is a place where we are going to collect all these stories, share these experiences, but also is a place where you can educate yourself. It's what's going on with the real world, not just figure skating, and how we can improve as a society. And I don't know how far we'll get to with this, but I'm sure that the responses have been very positive from all of you, including yourself. And I feel that this is going very well. I'm so happy, and it's a really important job that we all need to get together. All the skaters need to put their little bit of work into this, and I think we will make a positive change. It's already so much better, but it's still a long way to go. And yeah, well, with this, I want to say thanks to you for your time, your story, your stories that you have experienced with other skaters filming that we did not know, and that really they've touched us, and we are so excited to get to know that, and to share it on our platform. But thank you again, Jordan. It was a pleasure to chat with you. So if you have anything to say to the people who's watching, go ahead.
Um, I just want to say, like, stay tuned, stay educated, take a break off of Instagram every once in a while and watch a good documentary. And I'm saying that because I want to do more of that myself too. Um, you know, it's important to expand your social circles and the people that you talk to. Do reach out, do make phone calls, do talk to people one on one in person, because you learn so much when there isn't a camera rolling on you, and like we're doing these live interviews to share these stories with people, but you'll definitely learn a lot more when it's just you and another person talking, not in a public forum, but just having a real conversation. um,
True.
so yeah, that's all I
So yeah,
recommend.
thank you very much. And I think just to wrap it up, Skate Proud is about being proud. Is about skating your true self, and it's for everyone. And it's a place where not just the LGBTQ plus community, but examples like you, a friend and ally of the community, you also need to feel proud. And it's something that, as you mentioned before, you had to go through, and it will have helped you as well, to have this platform to feel, to understand, and learn and really improve yourself and be your true self, whether you're straight, homosexual, or part of the community or not. I think it's where we all need to get together. Yeah. So thank you very much,
Thank you.
and I hope to see you soon when all this COVID resumes, and you can
Yeah.
come back to the ice and keep doing your amazing work. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is a mm, not insignificant chance that I will be uh, in the Toronto area,
Soon?
possibly not soon, because who
Okay.
knows soon, but as soon as it's possible.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jordan, and I hope to see you soon then. Yeah. Take
See you
care.
soon. Take
Okay.
care. Bye.